Music teacher and financial prosperity are two terms that, let's face it, are rarely used together. And you hear more and more about music teachers that are just leaving the field completely for something else. And this is a huge problem, and it's a real shame. Because if you have financial troubles, if you have money stresses, then almost by definition, you cannot do your best work with students. It really holds our field back. And passion for the work, just deciding that you're not going to care about money because you're so passionate about the work, this only lasts for so long, maybe 5 years tops, before you really start to burn out. But when it comes to financial well-being, there are so many misconceptions. People make it way overcomplicated and way more confusing than it actually needs to be. And this is what screws us over and holds us back. And that's why in this video, I'm going to show you how not only can you survive, but you can actually thrive financially as a music teacher. Now, we've already built a completely free financial wellness course for music teachers. You can find the link down below. This video is not going to go into that level of detail, but it's going to give you a big picture overview of just how simple financial wellness can be. Now, when it comes to financial well-being, we really have two things working against us. The first is that the world has basically told music teachers you're supposed to be poor, or there's only so much financial wellness you can expect to attain because this is the field you decided to go into. And it's total BS, but the problem is that because so many music teachers have bought into it, it's essentially become true just because of that. It's become a self-fulfilling prophecy. And the second sort of more omnipresent reason you could say is that we really live in a society that's just constantly trying to take away our financial power, mainly through credit, loans, that kind of thing. And most of us were never taught how any of this stuff works. Even today, they still don't teach kids how taxes work in school. The one thing that every American is required to do, they don't teach in school. So is it any surprise then that we just have no idea about how this money handling thing works? And there are so many people ready to take advantage of us, basically from the time we turn the age where it's legal to take out credit. So by the time we even begin our careers, we have student loans, credit cards, car loans, and we're in this mountain of debt before we've even begun. We end up going into this sort of paycheck to paycheck cycle, and immediately from the beginning, we end up in survival mode. And the solution most people think is the answer is really just another big lie. I'm sure you've thought it yourself from time to time, and that it's, if only I made more money, if only my job paid more, if only music teachers were paid more, if only I could win the lottery, or maybe even if I had only decided to become a doctor instead of a music teacher. And this is also just a load of crap, because if you think through it critically, it would make sense that just a larger income is just not the answer. If you do any amount of research, you'll see even people who won the lottery, people who were broke and then won millions of dollars, you'll see that it was just a matter of time before they went right back to being broke. Or even people who are in higher paying fields, doctors, lawyers, there are plenty of doctors and lawyers that have financial problems. So even just with these couple of examples, you can arrive at the conclusion that a larger income is not the quick fix answer to surviving and thriving as a music teacher. So if the solution is not just making more money, then what is the solution? The solution is managing the money that you already make properly, and it consists of 3 parts. The first is creating and following a monthly budget. And if you've never done this before, it really can be quite life-changing. But the problem is there are so many misconceptions about what a budget actually is. When people think about living on a budget, they immediately think about depriving themselves, living like a miser, being miserable, and being a penny pincher, all that stuff. And that's totally not what a budget is. All a budget is making a plan for your money before the month begins. You can do it on a piece of paper, you can use an app like EveryDollar. All you do is just at the top of a page write what the income is that's coming in for the month, and then underneath that list out all your bills, look at what's left, and then you decide intentionally how much you're going to spend on different parts of your life. You can decide how much you're going to spend on groceries, how much you're going to spend on going out, how much you're going to spend on teaching supplies. So essentially by doing this, you're making a plan for your money before the month begins, and then you can be intentional, which is the most exciting part about this. You can decide to pay off debt, you can decide to save, because you're actually looking at the cash that's coming in and deciding what to do with it. Most people do not do this, or they don't even know of the concept. They just make their money, they make all their payments, they spend whatever, and then they just kind of shrug when they have no money left. But by making this budget, you can see exactly what's coming in, and it should be very, very empowering, because then you might decide like, hey, I need to make more money. I do need to make a change in my career, and I have the data to prove that. Or you might see, hey, I'm overspending a whole ton on groceries. Maybe we can back this down. And it can really empower you financially. The second is committing to swearing off of debt completely. No debt of any kind, living completely on cash. And this is a hard one for people to swallow, because debt is everywhere. Everyone has credit cards, everyone has car loans. Mortgages are okay because at least you're taking a loan out on something that's going up in value. You can always sell it and pay off your debt and then some. But with just about everything else, that's what's holding you back. Having a mountain of debt, the interest, it's killing you. So the best way to deal with this is to just swear off it completely. People will think you're crazy, let them think you're crazy, take that as a badge of honor. But when you're living on a budget, living just on cash, you can make those decisions. You can decide to pay off your debt faster. You can decide that you want to maybe increase your income, decrease your spending so that you can pay off debt faster. But basically decide today that you're just not going to borrow money anymore. And because you're living on a cash budget, you know that you're not going to go broke. You should have some peace with that. And it should be very exciting, because it's a new level of freedom from these debtors, these creditors that are constantly trying to take away your financial power. And the third, especially if you're able to eliminate all of your debts, is saving and investing every single month. On your budget, you can just make it one of those line items, a regular part of your monthly budget. And then over time, over months, over years, it just makes sense. You will have money. And when you invest over 20, 30, 40 years, that will grow with compound interest to millions of dollars. But this can only happen if you're actually living on cash, keeping a budget, and making sure that you're in control of exactly where your money's going. Now, most music teachers can already do this at their current income level without a need to make more money right away. And the most exciting part about this is that you have some hard data. You have the numbers to back up whatever direction you want to take. And when you create your budget, you can decide if you're going to pay off debt, save, even saving up for vacation, things like that. But the important part, the most important part, is that you're acting with intentionality with your finances. And you can predict based on your budgets, based on your numbers, how the coming years are going to go. So you don't have to wonder anymore if you're going to survive and thrive financially as a music teacher. You know you will, and you no longer would have to go through the motions of just living paycheck to paycheck, hoping that a miracle happens for your financial life. If you want to dig deeper into this, check out our completely free financial wellness course for music teachers using the link below. It's not only free, but it's a step-by-step guide that will show you exactly how to put together your budget, start working off debt as fast as you can, saving and investing so that you can thrive in your career as a music teacher. Because when you can take that financial stress off the table, you really will be able to impact lives more profoundly than you ever thought possible.